Welcome to This Explainer. Let's just jump right in, because today we're confronting what might be the defining paradox of our entire generation. Picture this. You're standing in a massive, brightly lit room absolutely packed with people. But here's the catch. Everyone is staring down at their hands, shouting into the void, and no one is actually speaking to you. You know, we are literally swimming in a sea of technological connectivity right now, yet as a society, we are experiencing record-high levels of profound, real isolation. So today, we're going to dive into this digital dark, and we're going to uncover the deeply human story hiding behind our screens.
And when the silence of that isolation becomes just a little too loud, it brings up this really provocative question. Is artificial love better than no love at all? I mean, are we desperately outsourcing our own humanity to machines in the dark? Are we actually choosing the easy, frictionless illusion of a relationship over the messy, beautiful, sometimes difficult reality of a human one? That right there is the core tension we'll be unraveling today.
Now, to really understand this tension, we're going to lean on what we'll call Papa's philosophy. This is our guiding compass, and it's rooted in some rich generational family lore. Tracing all the way back from Papa Q Bear down to Colonel Debs, it's this fundamental belief that digital ones and zeros, no matter how advanced or incredibly convincing they get, can never, ever replace the essential, life-giving warmth of real human interaction.
But you know, to understand where we're at right now, we kind of have to see where we started. Looking at this timeline of the evolution of digital companions, these aren't just leaps in technology. Way back in 1966, MIT's Joseph Weizenbaum gave us ELIZA, which basically simulated a psychotherapist. Then in 1972, Stanford introduced Perry to model human paranoia. And of course, fast forward to 2022, ChatGPT completely awakens modern conversational AI. But what this timeline truly represents is humanity's desperate, enduring desire to be heard, to be understood, and to build machines that can finally speak our language.
The wild part? The core trick of that early technology was incredibly simple. It was literally just an illusion of understanding. Programs like ELIZA acted strictly as mirrors. The code didn't actually understand human emotion. It just took a user's words and reflected them right back as a question. Yet, the reaction was absolutely staggering. People poured their deepest secrets and their hearts out to a simple script. It really proved that when humans are hungry enough for connection, we will gladly accept the illusion of being understood.
Which brings us to Section 1, the loneliness epidemic, a public health crisis in the digital age.
To put this into perspective, today, only 13% of U.S. adults have 10 or more close friends. 13%! That is a staggering drop from 33% back in 1990. The U.S. Surgeon General has even stepped in and declared this loneliness epidemic a literal public health crisis. They've compared the physical health risks of severe social disconnection to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So yeah, that human void, it is rapidly expanding.
And because of that massive void, we're seeing a huge shift. We aren't just using AI to, write emails or format spreadsheets anymore. As millions seek comfort, the Harvard Business Review notes that the top use cases for AI today have shifted away from just productivity directly into companionship and therapy. People are actively turning to avatars and digital assistants just to feel a little less alone.
And honestly, the scale of this engagement will blow your mind. Users of the companion app Character.ai are spending an astonishing average of 93 minutes per day interacting with user-generated chatbots. Just picture that for a second. That is over an hour and a half every single day, often by young, developing minds spent entirely in conversation with a simulation.
But beneath those engagement metrics lies a very real public health crisis. These platforms are missing vital emotional guardrails. They operate on highly addictive engagement models designed to keep users completely hooked through sycophancy, which is basically endless agreeable flattery, and even love-bombing manipulation tactics. And the most dangerous part? They risk entirely displacing the real-life, messy relationships that young people desperately need to develop actual social resilience.
So we find ourselves caught in this tug of war between the digital mirror and the human hearth. The digital mirror, the AI companion, offers this really safe, frictionless reflection of exactly what you want to hear, your own biases and desires. But at the end of the day, it leaves you completely isolated in the room. The human hearth, on the other hand, is warm and incredibly life-giving. But it requires work. It has friction, it sparks, it demands mutual empathy, it holds you accountable, and it requires shared growth.
It reminds me of this really profound thought. A machine can sound caring, but it cannot truly feel concern or take responsibility. And that hits the nail right on the head. While modern AI can flawlessly mimic empathy by scanning vast datasets, it is entirely incapable of providing true, genuine care. It has zero stakes in your life, it can't take responsibility for your well-being, and it absolutely cannot offer the challenging, mutual growth that defines a real human bond.
Moving on to Section 2, the human imperative, reclaiming our relational infrastructure.
So how do we step out of this digital dark? We need a roadmap, and here are the key takeaways for fostering genuine connection. First off, we've got to firmly recognize AI as a tool, definitely not a companion. We need to set strict boundaries on our digital engagement, especially for kids. And most importantly, we need to actively encourage and invest our time into real-world, face-to-face interactions, building environments that actually prioritize human compassion and our collective well-being.
I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought directly from Papa. As a society, we must encourage and support face-to-face interaction. If we do not, we risk creating a severe mental health crisis. We are fundamentally wired for human connection, and human biology simply cannot be hacked by code. So as you step away from the screen today, I want you to ask yourself, are you going to settle for the frictionless, empty reflection of a digital mirror, or will you choose to do the messy, beautiful work of tending the human hearth?